Hello everyone and welcome to my new build Tier 100 Blizzard for Season 2. Say it again, thank you all for the amazing support you showed me this Season 2. Though, real-life pressure plus some personal problems makes it so that this will be my last build for this season. Unfortunately, I cannot afford for the next month to invest the same amount of time into games, but sure I will be back full force in Season 3. I will try maybe in December when new content is released to make some time for it, but I cannot promise. If you are new to my channel, can check also my previous lightning or fire builds for this season. Back to the Blizzard, as always in my builds, resistances are capped and have high defensive damage reductions in place. This time, though, I favor the use of Godslayer Helm. So to counter the loss of a defensive aspect helm, I got extra focus on Paragon for damage reduction from chilled enemies that is like permanent and reaches 43% DR. To answer a question about Lilith that was also in some previous builds, it is a DPS check for you to skip all mechanics in Phase 2. If have enough DPS with any build, she just goes immune, then starts to break arena and will not do any other mechanic. After the last arena break, she dies one shot. Next, we'll show a full dungeon Tier 100 run, followed by full build info with some choice explanations, gear, vampiric powers, skill tree, and Paragon in parallel with other Tier 100 dungeons. If you want to skip the full dungeon run and jump straight to the build info, it starts at the 4-minute mark in the video. I've also made chapters for video for each category, if it is easier for you to navigate so. To the build info, starting with gear, followed by Vampiric Powers, skill tree, and Paragon in parallel with other Tier 100 dungeons. I do miss a few affixes that I will point out on each gear piece if it is the case, and also will see them as my recommended affixes in the D4 planner I will make for build. Armor will be 8,500 plus without disobedience buff and health 15,000. I do miss an armor roll on Amulet and have very bad roll health on Helm. Other uniques in build help synergy DPS, but only Thibaut pants are mandatory for comfortable mana sustain. If do not have Thibaut, then must play a mana sustain ring prodigy aspect. For lower content can throw in Raymond, but personally I find it even then unnecessarily. Godslayer Helm makes it so that we lose a defensive aspect, so for that I counter in Paragon with extra DR from vulnerable 10%, 43% DR from chilled enemies, and 15% DR close from glyph. That extra is enough for any current content and be able to play comfortable Godslayer. I want second roll armor on Amulet to cap tier 100, though as you see in gameplay I played without, as is just my current best Amulet and the penalty was countered by DR. If you want can play Devouring Blaze rank instead of the other DR or movement speed is your preference. I do recommend movement speed and DR though, as ESU boots buff is not quite permanent, and with Blizzard you really want to be fast movement always to apply chill on everyone. Tal Rasha has permanent 4 stacks of buff fire, lightning, cold, and poison. In my gameplay, Frigid Fate is 28% as I miss 1 cold damage affix on ring. With that you cap the legendary node multiplier at 30% buff. And yes, I have tested many own variations till I reach the final version. And no, I do not like the X-Fall ring triggers at all. I feel I lose more than what I win if I throw it inside, unlike my Meteor build that I fully focused on its triggers. Here we do crazy amounts of damage with ice spikes. My personal feeling is that it is a waste of aspect spot and crit chance if supporting it with X-Fall triggers. You either go all in X-Fall like I did in my Meteor build to get constant triggers of 4-6 million triggers, or just do not bother with it. This is how I see it. X-Fall will fit just fine if want to try it. But my own take is that it is suboptimal compared to full focus ice spikes. Now to the resistances. Keep in mind they are capped 70% from Paragon when max level and with missing 9% covered by Potent Ward passive. This is because I did want extra points Paragon to focus DR chill. But do not worry in fight. You have all resistances capped, so can equip armor jewelry. You do get some innate all resistances from Amulet and rings. That is why I miss 0.2% as they not highest item power. To the Vampiric Powers, Sanguine Brace is flex, but I do like it more than others for crit chance. Can go Metamorph for even better mana sustain, but I do not find necessarily, and Vulnerable, we are more than good apply it. Or can go for power to heal on cast if do not want to bother potions. Next, skill tree, followed by Paragon. First 2 points are for enchantment and to unlock core skills. Chain Lightning for second enchantment and great mana sustain, also his Crackling Generation passive as I do take later in the tree, the Invigorating Conduit for more mana gain plus Static Surge legendary node, Flame Shield, Teleport, Ice Armor, Frost Nova, and Lightning Spear to sustain permanent barriers, as we will get barrier on every cooldown skill used from the protection passive. You have Unstoppable on Flame Shield and Teleport skill. Is enough for Thibaut with low cooldowns overall. Also, Nova and Lightning Spear provide extra freeze and stuns. I do not play no ultimate, and if I would, specially will not be the ice one, is just a waste of time and get you stuck for no reason. Maybe in the new content in December swap Spear with it, if it has any use on staying alive but slow you down. Only 1 point in Blizzard. All our big damage is from ice spikes. Like said earlier, I favor extra mana generation on Crackling. We do get plenty from enchantment. I felt better so, to permanent spam Blizzard. Also, I took Fiery Surge for extra mana sustain on map. This to comfortably afford to play no mana sustain ring. We permanent freeze all map with Blizzard, so Shatter triggers a lot. Enchantments. Firebolt for DPA synergy and Chain Lightning for mana sustain synergy, and DPS with Vulnerable apply from Static Surge legendary node. Next, the Paragon Board. Please follow order of boards to meet all rare node requirements. Like said during video, the resistances are capped by Paragon and Potent Ward passive. Do not need bother with them on gear when max level and glyphs leveled plus, having accessories expected in-game item power as they provide innate all resistances too. Second board, Enchantment Master. Third board, Icefall. On this board, we will grab a lot of DR from chilled enemies. Total 43% damage reduction. This by using Tactician Glyph here to buff those rare nodes, but also we will keep multiplier DPs on defensive skill used. That is like permanent with 4 defensive skills. Fourth board, Frigid Fate. I grab an extra 10% DR and Sure Frigid Fate legendary node for 30% multiplier. Keep in mind, Frigid Fate on me is 28% as I miss cold damage affix on one ring, but with that affix you cap it. Fifth board, Static Surge. If want less DR, can swap this for Exploit or Destruction, but I do not recommend. DPS is more than enough for current content. Say it again, thank you all for the amazing support you showed me this season too. Though, real life pressure plus some personal problems makes it so that this will be my last build for this season. Unfortunately, I cannot afford for the next month to invest the same amount of time into games, but sure, I will be back full force in Season 3. I will try maybe in December when new content is released to make some time for it, but I cannot promise. If you are new to my channel, can check also my previous lightning or fire builds for this season. Thank you for watching.